So it feels like this game went from this can't be real to being announced in PlayStation State of Play. What happened there? Well, relax. I'm about to tell you. If you didn't already know, this game was first announced in 2021, if you'd call it that, but it was more of a concept teaser. Sort of a, hey, we're making a Resident Evil-esque game and it's gonna be messed up sort of message. But this trailer from 2021 is simply not the same game that was announced on PlayStation State of Play just the other week. Essentially, Team Clout was made up of people who have worked on things like Longlegs, VHS Beyond, Welcome to Derry, and Until Dawn. And the old version of Ill was a small American town setting. It was suburban houses, residential streets, and abandoned buildings and the like. And now it's set in an Eastern European fortress, similar to how Outlast was set in the Insane Asylum, which in my opinion will be much scarier because I've always found it more daunting to be trapped in an environment that you need to escape from rather than a linear open world. However, Team Clout have completely shifted their vision since 2021. Back then, their goal wasn't to announce a release date or reveal a story, it was to ask, can we make a game that feels as visceral as real life horror movies and make it into a video game? Which has been done before. I mean, I shat my pants playing Outlast, so it can be done. But from the get-go, their focus was on body horror, creature animation, gore, and photorealistic environments with realistic physics. And by the sounds of things, the physics have been very deeply worked on. And that's the sort of cinematic gameplay that they're going for. Team Cloud had one problem though. They had no large studio or publisher backing them, and their vision was much bigger than their team's resources. Not only that, but some of the team working on the game who were based in Ukraine ended up being affected by the conflicts within the country. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, which unfortunately affected production, so hearts out to those guys, hope you guys are all good. But despite these setbacks, in this period the team really focused heavily on developing the actual story of the game, because I can only imagine how difficult it would be to create a narrative-driven, cinematic, survival horror game. I certainly couldn't do it. But somehow, they implemented inventory management and resource scarcity and making the world feel more alive and more terrifying, all while having a very minimalistic UI. They went from look at this cool monster to why is the player actually here? And it was around this time that people started calling it a fake game and saying pre-rendered gameplay, but come 2025, everything flipped. Because Team Clout partnered with Mundfish Powerhouse, a spin-off from Mundfish, but still the same developers of Atomic Heart. And now they're at the point where they have an actual release window that they're aiming for. And the interesting part isn't that Ill took 6 years to get to this point, it's that Ill spent its first 4 years trying to become a game at all, and we're about to see the result of a group of people who specialize in horror filmmaking, VFX, and animation coming together to make a video game with Mundfish. And I think it's going to be sick. So now that you're all caught up on the Ill lore, I'd like to take a look at the actual gameplay that they've shown us, because there are some things that I'm actually really excited about. It's obvious that they're going for a very cinematic, physically horrifying experience. Most horror games rely on scripted jump scares and have health bars and predictable reactions. Whereas in Ill, the enemies are reactive, as shown in the gameplay, they can react to noises that you make. And my personal favorite? Dismemberment. So yes, you can blow off the limbs of enemies with a shotgun. An enemy picks up something to use as a weapon, blow their bloody arm off, mate. All good. But recent information also reveals that when you hack off an enemy limb, it might not stay down. Like, the limb will still come for you and could become a new problem entirely. And I think the whole point of the combat is to make it feel uncontrolled and disturbing. Regardless, it's going to be messy, close quarters, and really fucking stressful. Another thing I want to talk about is the interaction-heavy environment. I think this will be really cool if they get it right. The whole game is going to essentially have very limited UI, so you'll have to be looking out for weapons you can pick up and shit like that, because if you don't have a good enough look around in an area, you could miss a weapon and that could really come in handy in the next area. And this brings me to resource management and survival pressure. This game is definitely not going to be a shoot 'em up and hack and slash like Doom or something like that. When you do find a gun, you're probably going to get like 1 or 2 bullets that come with it. So I reckon you're going to have to scavenge, find hidden nooks for bullets and medkits and whatnot. And even if you do find the bullets, you're still going to be in an enclosed space for majority of the playtime. And the enemies are not patient. They're going to rush the shit out of you. Not only that, but the weapons are going to feel heavy. You can't just snap down your iron sights like it's Call of Duty, because your character is just a civilian. You don't know how to handle a gun properly, and it's going to show. Oh, and yeah, some of the enemies will throw shit at you, so that could make for some shittily timed moments. Alright, pacing. Wait, did I talk about pacing? I don't know. I don't think so. Anyway. I don't want to keep comparing this game to Outlast, but I feel like they're so similar in regard to pacing anyway. But the game is going to have a lot of quiet build-up moments that lead to sudden chaos. Like you'll be chilling thinking you're safe, and then you turn a corner and bam! Army of 1,000 headless babies. This is mainly what the developers are trying to sell though. Not generic, predictable horror, but that feeling of not knowing what to expect when you enter a new room. They've even said it themselves that we've only seen a fraction of what the game has to offer. Normally when devs get closer to release, they run out of things to be putting in the game. But this is different, they're actually still announcing new things that we don't know about yet. And a lot of tension will be built with the things that you can't see, like shadows on a wall, screams down a distant hallway, maybe even tape recording that you can collect and they give you a bit of backstory. Also, it's probably worth mentioning, what do you guys think about these guys with the freaking power armor and the high caliber machine guns for arms? I think they're a sort of cleanup crew that have been sent to exterminate the anomalies in the fortress or something like that, but I could be wrong. Either way, I don't think the player is going to be able to fight these guys. I think it's going to be a you see one of these motherfuckers, you run the other way sort of deal. Alright, and that's about all I got. If you're new around here and you like games, then subscribe. And leave a comment about Ill. Let me know your thoughts about it. Anyway, I'm super excited for this game, and I'll definitely be playing it on the channel. Love you, bye.